Amarachi, My Village Wife, Episode 10. The bus finally rolled into Umadara village just after sunrise. As Chinidu stepped down with his small travel bag, a wave of memories rushed over him. The red earth roads, the tall palm trees, the familiar voices of villagers beginning their day. Everything looked the same, yet somehow everything felt different. Years ago, he had left this village filled with dreams and ambition. Now he had returned carrying regret. As he walked through the village square, people recognized him immediately. Whispers followed him. Some villagers greeted him politely. Others simply stared. News of his return spread quickly. Before long, nearly everyone knew that Chinidu was back. But the news that troubled him most was the one he heard from an elderly villager. Amarachi is doing very well these days. Chinidu smiled faintly. I'm glad to hear that. The old man nodded. She owns some of the biggest farms around here now. Chinidu was surprised. Really? The man laughed. She became successful after you left. The word struck him harder than expected. For years, he had imagined returning to find the same Amarachi he left behind. The shy village girl waiting faithfully for him. But life had moved forward, and so had she. Later that afternoon, Chinidu decided to visit one of Amarachi's farms. His heart pounded with every step. He wasn't sure what he expected. Forgiveness? Anger? A second chance? He didn't know. When he finally reached the farm, he stopped in his tracks. There she was, standing confidently among workers, giving instructions, managing operations, smiling. For a moment, Chinidu could barely recognize her. Not because she looked different. She was still the beautiful Amarachi he remembered, but there was something new about her. Strength, confidence, purpose. The sadness he remembered was gone. In its place stood a woman who had rebuilt herself. As if sensing someone watching, Amarachi turned around. Their eyes met. The world seemed to freeze. Neither spoke, neither moved. Years of memories stood between them. The promises, the waiting, the betrayal, the heartbreak. Everything returned in a single moment. Amarachi's smile disappeared. Her face became unreadable. Chinidu slowly walked toward her. The workers quietly stepped aside. The entire farm seemed to hold its breath. Finally, Chinidu spoke. Amarachi, hearing her name and his voice again, felt strange. She remained calm. Welcome back. The words were polite. Nothing more. No excitement. No affection. No words. Chinidu felt his heart sink. I've wanted to see you. Amarachi nodded. I can see that. Silence followed. For the first time in his life, Chinidu struggled to find words. The confident businessman was gone. Standing, there was a man facing the consequences of his choices. I owe you an apology. Amarachi looked at him quietly. You do. The honesty in her voice cut deeper than anger ever could. I hurt you. Yes. I am sorry. Amarachi looked away toward the fields. For a moment, neither spoke. Then she turned back to him. Do you know how many nights I cried waiting for your calls? Chinidu lowered his head. Amarachi, do you know how many times people laughed at me because I believe your promises? Her voice trembled slightly. Not from weakness, from old pain. I waited for years, Chinidu. Tears filled his eyes. I know. No. She shook her head. You don't know. For the first time, Chinidu understood that some wounds could never be fully explained. As their conversation continued, another figure approached from across the farm. It was Obiora. He had come to discuss business matters with Amarachi. When he saw Chinidu standing beside her, he immediately understood who he was. The two men exchanged a long look. Neither smiled. Neither spoke. Amarachi noticed the tension. Obiora, this is Chinidu. Obiora nodded politely. I know who he is. The words carried more meaning than they appeared. For the first time, Chinidu felt something unfamiliar. Jealousy. As Obiora and Amarachi discussed farm business, Chinidu noticed how naturally they interacted, how comfortable they were together, how often Amarachi smiled around him. A painful realization began forming. Someone else had been there while he was gone. Someone else had supported her. Someone else had earned her trust. And for the first time, Chinidu understood what it felt like to be the one left behind. That evening, Chinidu sat alone outside his family house. The village was quiet. The stars filled the night sky. He thought about everything he had seen. Amarachi's success, her strength, her pain, and Obiora. The road to forgiveness was going to be far more difficult than he imagined. Because Amarachi was no longer waiting for him. She had built a life without him. And now Chinidu faced the hardest challenge of all, not winning her love, but proving he deserved even a small place in her life again.